Hey guys,
I'm Jerry.
I'm Sierra,
We're ladies.
and we tangent.
I thought you were down on your knee like for
Oh, no. Could you imagine?
Is that how you're telling
No.
me?
No, but I told him yesterday. We were driving, and I was like, you know what? I think that you are the perfect mix of things for me.
Mm-hmm.
Because you sang, you were into music,
Mm-hmm.
but also you're an athlete.
Mm-hmm.
You're very funny. You're very hardworking. You're very thoughtful. Like, you have all of these qualities. You're goofy, but like also there's certain ththings that you take very seriously. Yeah. And he looks at me and he goes, "Did you call me an athlete?"
Out of all of
That's what I said. I said all of those things, and athlete is what you picked out. And he goes, "I gotta go trade in a ring real fast." And I was like, "Well, you're certainly not ever gonna give me that. That's what I know."
Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. Yeah. Shall we?
Mm-hmm. What's up, everyone? Hello.
Guess what? We're back. And we didn't go anywhere.
We're back and our ass got bigger.
No, it didn't. Don't let her lie to you.
Mine did.
My ass has stayed the same.
These are the pants from tour.
Mm.
And I'll tell you what, on this break from tour, I've been thickening up.
Oh, I've been going quite the opposite.
Mm.
But I think it's because on tour, we were just eating like shit.
Or not eating at all.
Or not eating. It was one or the
Yeah.
other. And I'm somebody who has to have a pretty consistent, I don't want to use the word diet, but I have to have a pretty consistent way of eating.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like a bird. Small snacks throughout the day.
Yeah.
Or it just throws my whole body out of whack.
There's an ice cream place here that makes they have Storm and Normans is what they're called. It's basically like a Blizzard, but it's their version of it. And they use their homemade ice cream, and they put, honestly, Dairy Queen can fuck off is how I feel.
Okay.
And I'm going to go on record saying it. Cost us any brand deals in the future.
I was like, oh shit.
Because
they've never reached out to us, so fuck 'em.
Because the ice cream place I'm talking about puts whole like mini Reese cups throughout the entire thing, and you don't even have to ask for extra, but if you do, they give you extra, but you don't have to ask for extra because they put a good amount in it.
But when they hand it to you, do they do this?
No, they don't flip it upside down.
They don't do upside downsies?
No, they don't threaten you.
Fuck off.
They don't threaten you with
the
it.
way that someone at Dairy Queen did that once, but reached into my car to do it over my lap, and I was like, wow.
Wait a minute.
That felt like a threat.
It is threatening.
Why would you do that?
What happens if it does come out?
That's what I'm saying.
If you have ever had someone dump a Dairy Queen Blizzard on you, I want to hear from you.
Please.
I want to know what that experience was like.
Send us
Did
your
you get
story.
free Blizzards then? Because I think you're supposed to, or if they don't do it, you're supposed to get free Blizzards, which feels like a weird kink for whoever created Dairy Queen. I want to see you dump these Blizzards on people. Just flip it upside down for a little adrenaline rush. I don't know.
Because I think it was the new way that because I've been getting Blizzards since like the 90s, baby.
Yeah.
I love a Blizzard. And so that was a new, fuck them is what Jerry's saying. I actually haven't. I haven't gotten a Blizzard in a very long time.
If I ask for a Reese Cup Blizzard, they stir it up so much that it tastes like
their
nothing.
Shit kinda, yeah, I can't vouch for you anymore. Is what I'm saying.
I'm
but
upset.
back in the early, I would say back in 2009, you were my shit. And I think that was around the time maybe that they started doing it. I can't remember when, but I just remember being jarred when they reached out at me and did it, and I was like, "What the fuck is going on?"
I have to look it up now.
The fuck is happening?
When did Dairy Queen start flipping their shit up? Start dropping.
I love that we're both wearing our merch, by the way. I didn't even
know.
notice that until just now. Hey, this is new merch, everybody. If you want to go buy our merch. This is, and everything you're doing is rooted in witchcraft shirt. And
Interesting.
Cool.
I fucking love that shirt.
It's so fun.
I love, you know what? I don't like to take credit a lot, but that is my brainchild.
Yeah.
And I love her so much because it looks metal as hell.
It does.
But it's
I like
not.
it. I like it.
It says that Dairy Queen participated in a promotion in 2015 that required employees to serve Blizzards upside down as a tribute to the frozen treat's origins.
Okay, that makes sense.
Because
I was going to say, I know that it was after 2009, but I knew it was around that era of my life when I first experienced
An upside down blizzy.
upside down blizzy in my face.
Oh no! Thank you for the blizzy.
Upside down blizzy. Upside down blizzy.
In 1959.
Oh hell!
A 14-year-old named Steve Gamber. I can't imagine a 14-year-old named Steve. That's where I take pause. Would frequently visit a Drew's location of Dairy Queen, I'm assuming,
Okay.
and ask for thicker and thicker malts.
I like you, Drew.
One day,
Wait, Steve.
Drew, Steve, Greg, John, I love you all. One day, Drew's flipped the malt upside down to demonstrate its thickness and told Gambler that if it fell out, it was free.
That's sick.
That
And then they didn't do it again until 2015.
they actually did it intentionally and knew it wasn't thick, and they're like, "Don't come back here, Steve. Quit
out.
asking us for thick malts."
I like you, Steve. I like my shit
Interesting.
thick too. I want to get my cheekbones fucking while I'm sucking on that shit. I mean, you know.
Oh, you're talking about a milkshake?
Oh, hell.
I was like, or a malt. I was like, I'm sorry. What are you sucking on?
Not my Blizzard. Not my BBL Blizzy or whatever.
It's my DQ Blizzard.
Oh my god! But we're not talking about DQ
Blizzard.
because fuck them.
Because fuck them. Because when I asked for a Reese Cup Blizzy, they stir it up too much, and then
No.
everything is just pulverized, and it has like a hint of peanut butter.
It's like
Stupid.
someone ate a peanut butter cup and then sneezed into your Blizzard while it was still chewed up.
Dude, that is what it's like. That's a review.
That is what it feels like. Okay, so
I'll go down in history saying that. Who sneezed in my Blizzy?
who sneezed in my Blizzy? Got a sneezy Blizzy. Sneezy yeah, Blizzy. I went to a concert last night. So I took Noah. Yesterday was my birthday, everybody. Not right now when you're listening, but right now when we're recording. And so I took Noah to his first concert. It was AJR. I didn't, apparently they're brothers. I didn't know shit
Oh.
about them, except that Noah loves them. He found them himself. I don't know how. And
Okay.
then like listened to their entire album. So cute. He knew the words to every song. Me and Corey knew the ones that he makes us
Yeah.
listen to over and over, but he knew every word to every song. It was so cute. In the show, if you go, is absolutely, absolutely incredible. I cried multiple times, and there was something I was going to tell you about it. Do you remember what we were talking about? Because now it's escaped me. I'm trying to remember what I told you and what I didn't tell you. Oh, I remember.
Okay.
Just that. It was a really beautiful thing because it reminded me, one, there's a song that they have that says, Steve's going to London.
Okay.
Dan, Pete in the pool.
Okay. I like
Makes
it.
me laugh
I'm
every
into
time.
it.
Anyways, so Noah couldn't stop singing that part. And I was like,
Yeah.
Noah, enough. Whatever. He was just living his best stimmy life. He was vocal stimming. He
Yep.
was physically stimming. He was so excited. And at the
Yow!
end, yow! I didn't know AJR, they're brothers. And so at the end, they do a song that they like dedicated to their dad who passed away.
Oh.
And it's so sad. So I am sitting there bawling, right?
Mhm.
And it is kind of, they, if you're going to a show and you don't want spoilers, it's not really a spoiler, but you don't have to listen to this part. But they, at the end, did like a hey, when we were in high school, because we started this band in high school, and people used to make fun of us. They used to, you know, have an anti-AJR club in the school.
Ew.
I know. He's like, record labels didn't want us until they got big on TikTok, I think,
Yeah.
is when they really, and all these people. And so he's like, and I just want to say, in the stadium full of over 10,000 people, fuck the bullies, fuck the record. And he was talking about how their dad used to wear their merch to parent-teacher conferences,
Aw.
AJR shirts. And anyways, so then at the
Dad's
end.
a down ass bitch.
He really is. He really
He's
is.
6 feet down now. But
Oh, shit.
Sorry. Sorry.
God damn.
The Dad's Club.
Oh yeah. So I am sitting there silently sobbing as we're watching, and then they do like one big encore, and then at the end of it, they're like, "Thank you, good night," whatever, and I'm like, "Oh, that was wonderful." And Noah turns to me, and he just like throws himself against me and is crying, and he's like, "Thank you so much, Mom." And then I start like actually sobbing. I'm like, mind you, Corey's like, all right, let's go. We gotta get out of the parking garage. He's being a real dad. Like, we gotta get to the parking garage because this shit is about to be crazy. Yeah. And me and Noah are just like, we're having a moment. Will you leave us alone? But I just wanted to say that as a parent, that might be my number one parenting day.
The highlight.
Oh man, that was so cool.
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait, but I am excited to take the boys,
dude,
one day.
Just like, it's so cool because no offense to my parents at all. I don't think they knew what to do with me when I was younger. I had very different.
Okay, you're correct. However, I am gonna highlight that I sent you pictures.
Oh yeah.
And so the first concert that Sierra and I think went to our first concert together.
We did.
Our dads, I think our parents both took us, but there are photos with our dads.
Yeah, I was going to say my mom was not there because they were divorced.
That's true.
My dad was with his girlfriend.
That's true. I remember.
So not my parents.
I did see that photo as well. But there's a picture of my dad and I'm on his shoulders. I posted it for Father's Day, and in the background, Sierra's dad's holding her and she's
like cuddled up on his shoulder.
Got her head on his shoulder, and I'm like, oh God, that's so fucking
I actually sent because my dad here actually apparently so he texted me this thing, happy birthday thing. It was a big like to my badass daughter, and it's one of those meme things, Gen X parents. Anyway, I said, thank you. I'm sorry I took so long to respond. I took note. It was first concert. It was so awesome. I know how you felt now taking us and watching us love the music that was playing. It was so cool. He said, sweet. Who did you go see? I said, AJR. They're Noah's favorite band, and I'd never really heard of them, but they put on a hell of a show. He said, that's awesome. So happy for you. You didn't punch anyone, did you? Because in my second concert, he did punch a dude.
But you were pregnant, right?
No, his wife was pregnant. Yes. Yeah, I was in high school still.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, and but that's because these guys in the mosh pit were like, his wife was pregnant at the time, and he had his young daughters there, and we were at the front, but these mosh pit guys kept like coming over and like fucking hitting us, and we were minor.
Yeah.
Minor.
Hey, minor.
And so anyways, then my dad punched the one dude in the face, and then the bouncers noticed what was happening so much that they made that dude come over and apologize to my dad, and then they kicked him out. I was like, that was awesome. Anyway,
happy birthday, Dad.
I don't for real.
Did you send him that picture?
No, I'm gonna have to.
Oh, okay,
I forgot about it.
And I thought that's where you were going with that.
No,
and then you put your phone down.
No, that was it. Just that.
Okay,
I
that
said
still
thank
is
you.
cute.
But I don't think my parents. We didn't have the same. My sister is very like my mom, and I think I'm more like my dad, but not. We have a lot of differences, and I'm a very unique child blend for them. Mm-hmm. So I think they were very confused, and so they didn't really. All I'm trying to say is it was really cool to be the parent that even though it wasn't my thing, I was just happy to be there supporting his thing. And I was like, I don't understand any of this, but I like the energy in the room.
If that's not some parenting shit, like,
dude,
did that not make you feel so old?
Yes. And also, there was a moment where I looked over at Corey, and I had tears in my eyes because I cried through almost the whole thing. I'm also in my luteal phase again. If anyone's still synced
luteal as fuck right now.
If you're synced up with me. And I looked at him and I leaned into Corey because at this point he was like kind of hugging me. We were both just watching Noah enjoy it. And I go, he's like, why are you crying? And I go, I'm just happy to know that there's a place in the world for people like Noah.
Aww.
And like, because I was always so nervous that he would be kind of treated like I was in high school for being kind of different. Yeah. And like seeing this stadium of 10,000 people who were all very like him, like there was some, it was different, but it was different in the best way. Like a lot of video game references, a lot of like things that I was like, I don't know what's happening here, but I like it.
Well, I feel like people talk about our audience and our community being a safe space for people who've always felt different. And
yes.
That's probably like being in the middle of that.
That's exactly what it felt like. There were also 2 openers and they were so cool. I want to shout them out. The first was called Almost Monday and the lead singer looked like Spencer Reed. This is what you were going to tell me. Yep. Spencer Reed from Criminal Minds. Yep. But like I kept looking at Corey and I was like, I love this guy. And he was like, I think you love him a little too much. because you haven't stopped talking about him. But he sounds almost like Justin Bieber-esque,
Okay.
but like rock.
Got it.
I'll play you some of the.
Okay.
But he put on such a fun. He had his sunglasses on and a yellow suit. No
Hell
one said he
yeah.
looked like a banana, and I loved it. And then he was being. Corey goes, if you were talented, he didn't say that. I said if I was talented, but he goes, if you were a musician, this is the energy I feel like you would give on stage.
Yeah.
It's very weird, but just like, who gives a shit? And
Yeah.
moving around the stage. And then there was a second opener, MXM Tune.
Okay.
And I think she was just by herself, but she had people that were playing with her. But like she's the artist.
Got it.
And she was like playing her ukulele. And she reminded me of you. She gave you energy. I was like, this is me and Jerry if we were performers. Because she did do a little bit of like, she was Taylor Swifty.
Got it. Okay.
So, but very
Singer-songwriter.
cutesy.
Yeah.
She was wearing like a huge, it almost looked like tinfoil, but it was very sparkly. It looked like she was a Christmas bow dress. I was like, this is Jerry.
Fun.
So anyways, shout out to those two bands. They were also really fucking good. And I feel like they should blow up because they put on just as good of a show, I feel like, as the other ones we went to see. So anyways, I just wanted to talk about them because it was really cool. It was cool to see like people that I feel like our audience feels when they see us. It was just like the energy in the room was so positive and so good. And so like nobody was judging anyone.
Yeah.
There were people crying, me. There were people.
There was person crying.
Jumping up and down. When they came on stage, right? Noah screamed, but not like, woo! He went, excuse me. The highest pitch, like you hear in a Disney movie when the girl faints.
When a swoon occurs.
That's what he did. And then he goes, I have to sit down. I'm going to pass out.
That's your son.
It was.
That's your son.
And I was like, and guess what? Nobody looked at him. They were just like, we're all feeling that as well. It was so beautiful.
And if you guys want to feel that, you can come see us on tour.
Bingo, baby. Truly. Hey, I think we still have meet and greets in some places. So check for meet and greets.
Boston's almost sold out.
Boston is almost sold out. So if you want to come to Boston, we're telling you now that I would buy your tickets very soon because we are at like 75% for Boston.
Yeah.
It's selling out quick.
Yes.
Las Vegas, we want to see you there.
Mhm.
New York City, we want to see you there.
DC.
You guys asked us, you begged us to come. I had so many messages about New York City, so you better freaking show up.
Show up. And I'll tell you what, there's so many people who are like, come back to Texas, do another Ohio show, come back to North Carolina. I missed you the first time. Don't be that person. Don't miss us the first time. Okay? You're not, hey, and that's not just for me, that's for you.
Yeah.
Okay? Do yourself a favor and let future you thank past you for not letting you miss out on present us when we're there.
Bingo. Because also we don't know when we're going to be invited back to these places.
That's true.
So
That's true.
And it all depends on how our ticket sales are now.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So if we suck, we suck, you know, or whatever.
And that's what I've always said.
All right. Real quick before we start the actual what we're actually talking about, I did just want to say thank you to I have been doing streaming, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Twitch streaming, CC streams on Twitch, and for my birthday, they all kind of talked me into doing. I did a Wednesday stream before, and then I did a midnight, like 10:30 going into my birthday.
Aww.
And it was so cute, and everybody was so nice. So thank you so much for everyone that came. But it reminded me of how much me and Corey we just also stim because someone was like, 15 minutes till your birthday, and I go, 15 minutes till Christmas. Me and Corey couldn't stop that. Once we set each other off, and I said, just so everybody is aware, the entire month of December, that's what it sounds like in our house.
Yep.
10 minutes till Christmas. So anyways.
Ugh, tough crowd.
Tough crowd.
And that's what it sounds like in my house.
Tough crowd.
Holiday hobby whatty. Before I get into my transition, it was 1,000 degrees last week here. Okay.
Oh my God.
So
dude, it was so
fucking
hot.
So I was able to like
all of my grass died.
Same. Dead as fuck.
I was like, Jesus.
It looks like straw.
Yes.
I sold my house.
Yay!
So that's exciting.
So exciting.
But I was like, hey, everyone who's coming to view my house, I swear the yard doesn't always look
No,
like this.
it is just, it's Hades in this bitch.
Yeah.
We're living in hell.
But I was able to swim at my mom's house. She had a leak in her pool, but she got it all fixed just in time for the heat wave.
Hell yeah.
And so we were there, and my kids were trying to swim, but Brady and I found rings. Okay, there was 3 rings. I think they're supposed to be dive rings. I don't know, but we tossed them to each other on either side of the pool and caught them on our hands.
Nice. Okay.
For like an hour, we played this game, just the 2 of us.
Not in the pool?
In the pool.
Okay.
There's
but
no-
on opposite sides. I got you.
I don't know that there's a point system. I don't know if there
I
was
just
an
imagined you guys
objective.
standing outside of the
No, we were on
That's
either end of the pool in the water. Now,
Okay.
he makes fun of me because when he would toss it,
Mm-hmm.
I think I had to do what I'm about to tell you I did because he threw it shitty. But
Sure.
I would jump up and dive and just like fall into the water and then shoot my hand out like,
And it was
"Got it!"
yes!
Yeah, like I was like gonna. It was a really
It's
tough
that moment in a TV show where they're like,
Yes.
yeah.
It was like the impossible touchdown pass every single time.
Sure.
And so now he will just fucking flop into the pool and dive for no reason and be like, well, guess who I am?
First of all, I wouldn't flop. There's only 4 feet.
It is only 4 feet.
That's scary. I've tried to
Also-
flop into that pool before, and I've touched the ground very quickly.
I dove into it one time and smashed my nose on the bottom.
Don't do that.
And I came up and I was like, thank God no one saw that. It's so embarrassing to hurt yourself when no one's around. It's like if a tree falls in the woods, does anyone hear it? And it's like,
I'm still embarrassed. Hey, if a tree falls in the woods and no one's around, it's still embarrassed.
I'm still embarrassed. But my mom has this little plaything for the kids, and it's like a basketball hoop and a slide and whatever. And it's just like something for the ground.
Sure.
But we put it going into the pool.
Oh, fun.
And before my kids went on it, I was going to test it to make
Yes.
sure. Well, it's not made for adults, and
Uh-oh.
I'll tell you that for free. Because when I went down the slide, I shot it backwards. And you ever seen a rock skip? That's what I did. I hit the end of the pool, and then it shot me forward, and then I went under. And I came up, and my mom and Brady were like, "Is your ass hurt?" And I'm like, "I'm fine.
Almost always.
Everything's fine."
It
But-
doesn't never not hurt.
It turns out if you are like 30 pounds,
Uh-huh.
it doesn't do that.
Yeah,
So it was
good.
fine for my kids.
Good,
However,
Not good for you.
not good for me.
Yeah.
So
A little bit more than 30.
a little bit more.
That's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's okay.
So my transition.
Mm-hmm.
So you had a first taking Noah to a concert. I had a first. I took my boys to the drive-in movie theater.
How was it?
They don't understand the concept
Okay.
of they're not good with movies because they don't like to sit
Yep.
still.
Yeah.
Um
That's why people were like, "Did you take Sawyer to see it?" And I was like, "She doesn't sit, so no. We're gonna wait till it
Yeah.
gets on Disney before she sees it."
but they thought it was really cool to be in the car. They thought it was really cool to like be able to touch grass
Okay.
while watching a movie. I
Sure.
don't know, like chase lightning bugs while watching it.
Yeah.
There was one point in time though. So there is the movie that I took them to see is the movie that we're going to talk about, Inside Out 2. There was a part that I missed in the beginning.
Yeah.
I didn't get to see the introduction of the new.
Oh.
Now I saw them,
Yeah.
but I didn't get the first moment
Well,
of
then you missed
introducing
the
them.
First thing I'm going to tell you about.
Well, good. You can tell me because
What
I
made
was
me cry?
fighting for my life
Why?
in the bathroom,
Oh.
I was shitting up a storm. I remember taking a picture of myself holding the handle, and I sent it on Snapchat to people like, I am dying
I'm
right
fighting
now.
for my life.
Yeah.
That reminds me that I took Noah, so it was just me and Noah that went to the movies to
Mhm.
see this movie. Beautiful. I'm very glad that we went, the 2 of us, because of what the movie ended up being.
Yes.
And also, we did get the full jumbo thing of popcorn and 2 drinks and candy, and Noah did throw up that next morning.
Lessons were learned.
Because I looked at him at one point and I was like, I cannot eat anymore. I'm actually starting to feel sick. And he was like, I feel fine. And then he threw up. And I was like,
Big
maybe we don't do that again in a movie. And I was
Yeah.
like, we were just living our life. We were
Yeah.
trying to have the full experience, but
Yep.
we don't eat that much sugar and butter often. So it really fucked us up. But the very here's what he kept doing. He kept fucking with me because he would look over at me and he'd go tear check. Because literally from the first 5 minutes, I was crying.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, not sobbing, just tears rolling down my face. And it was because, if you didn't see, in the very beginning, they give you kind of a run through. This is Riley. She's a little bit older now. Now she is 2 years older than we last saw her.
Mm-hmm.
She's going into high school soon.
Yep.
And she's going through puberty and things. And so they're like, her islands are still the same. We've just added a couple more on. And they said Family Island's a little different. And they show Family Island, and it is like this big now. It's very small. And the parents are hugging each other, and she's off kind of by herself. And then it says it's a little overshadowed by Friendship Island, which is huge now.
Aww.
And I start just silent tears.
Oh, no.
Because I feel like that's 100% what I'm seeing with Noah, which is I was his world. And not that I'm not that boy mom that's like, this is my baby. I'm your mommy and you should be my everything. No, but like there is a point when your kids think that you are everything to them. And then they get older. And as much as I like love it, I love that he has his own people and his friends and he's like going off and doing his own thing. I remember I think I talked about it on the podcast, the moment when we used to walk to school together, and then he started having a friend walk and I would walk behind them while they walked together, joking and like talking the whole time.
And you were third wheeling
like,
it.
Wow, this is something I didn't expect to hurt as bad as it does, but I also don't want to intervene because I don't want to be like, love mommy.
Yeah, you're mommy's baby.
Yes.
And that's all you'll ever be.
So that was kind of the beginning.
Yeah.
They go to they're going to hockey camp because she's very into hockey.
Yes.
She's going with her two best friends, right? And then did you see where they're all sleeping? So it's the night before, I think, hockey camp.
Okay.
They're all sleeping. All the regular people that were in the brain, joy, sadness, is it panic? Fear. Or no, it goes, I think you and Fear would get along. And I was like, shut the fuck up. I know that. Fear, anger, and disgust. Okay. They're all, and then all of a sudden there's this alarm that goes off and they're all sleeping and it's the puberty alarm.
I missed that. That's what I missed. I was shitting during that because a similar alarm was going off in my bowels.
body. Yes. So then they come out and they're like, what? They don't say what the fuck. What the fuck is going on? The emotion. That's what happens inside my head. What the fuck is happening? But they're like, I'm so tired. Why is this alarm? How do we shut it off?
Yeah.
It's the puberty alarm. And then all of a sudden, all these people are flanking them and they're setting up a brand new control system. And then we get introduced to the new characters. So we have anxiety, relatable. We have embarrassment. What the fuck is the one who's like,
I have them all written down.
Ennui or something?
Oh yeah, ennui.
Ennui?
He calls him wee wee. I love the
that.
choice. Troy's like, I'm gonna call you wee wee. And he's like, no. But I call him boredom because that's what they said that it meant.
Boredom. And then there is envy.
Yes.
Which I love. So cute.
I really like how they portrayed envy because
it wasn't like a bad thing.
When I think of envy, I think of
a deadly sin.
What? Yeah, but I think of someone.
That's like Catholicism in you.
Yeah, I got that Catholic in me.
Yeah.
I think of it being like almost like angry for someone else having something that you don't.
Yeah.
And that's not how it was portrayed. It was more so like I feel less than because someone has something, or I wish I had.
I want to be you.
Yes.
Which I think is something that like I didn't remember feeling until this movie. This movie reminded me a lot of middle school years. And I was like, oh yeah, I had envy hard in my middle school year. I was like, I wish my hair looked like that. I wish my clothes fit like that. I wish I had those. You know what I mean? It was always like, it was not, I hate them for having that. It was like, I wish I could kind of a thing.
Yes.
And that's really how they portrayed envy. Embarrassment, I loved.
Yep. Same.
So good. The cheeks getting all red. My favorite was nostalgia that kept going.
Me too. I love nostalgia. They're like, we're not ready for you, nostalgia.
Okay.
Go away.
Nostalgia was great.
I remember them. They're like, shut up.
No, not yet.
Go back.
Come back in 20 years.
Go back in your closet.
But yeah, that I loved how they portrayed all of them, even down to the way they made them look was very I feel like.
Yeah, well, it's almost what I kind of noticed between the original ones and the second set is it was almost like the first emotions grew
Yes.
up into the second set of emotions.
100%.
Now, obviously, they all coexist and like they are different. Like they have different terms,
But there's parallels.
yes. Yes.
So
there's a complexity to it.
yes, there's like joy. I feel like it's joy mixed with fear is anxiety.
Yes. Yes.
She's got both of them because
Yep.
anxiety did seem joyful at first and like everything is fine and I'm fine. But at the base of anxiety was that root fear.
Yes.
And then boredom was sadness, but in a different way. It was almost
Yes.
like apathy. Like
Yes.
I don't really care for anything. I'm just here.
It's almost like sadness and disgust.
Yes. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And then embarrassment was sadness mixed with fear.
Yep.
And who the fuck else am I?
Envy?
Envy was maybe, let's see. I would say there was a joy to it, but also a joy mixed with a disgust.
Yes.
Maybe.
Yes.
Which is like
almost like a self.
yeah, like a
Yes.
self-loathing a little bit.
Yep.
Damn, we fucking did that shit.
I think so. I think so. I remember writing down during it duality. Like there was a huge theme of duality in this movie. I think it started in the first one when we saw like joy and sadness together. And I wrote down something Joy said in the beginning to sadness. She goes, "Where you go, I go." And like,
Yeah.
that is so fucking true.
Yeah.
And we learned that in the last movie.
No, I love that. I also believe, because it's funny, Noah said, "I know who's running your control board." And I was like, "Who?" He was like, "Anxiety." And I was like, "Damn, you're so right. You're so right for that." But I was like, "Why do you think that?" And he's like, "No, I think it's like anxiety in the beginning of the movie where it seems positive. It seems I'm here to protect you. Yeah, I'm staying up all night and I'm thinking about all of the different things that could happen and go wrong. But I'm
to a
doing it
detriment.
to plan it. I'm doing
Yes.
it to plan for our future, and that's good because I want you to have all good things.
Mm-hmm.
But is that going to ruin us potentially?
Yeah.
And I liked how they portrayed that as not necessarily right off the bat a bad thing. It was almost like, no, this is a necessity. We need to be prepped for this because if we're not, we won't get these good things that we want for ourselves. Right.
And it's almost a way of not gaslighting yourself, but kind of being like, yeah, this thing that is actually harmful and detrimental to me, I've convinced myself that it's not.
Yeah.
It's a necessity. I also wrote down that in the beginning, and I knew this was going to be an important part, and it is. Obviously, there's so many spoilers here, so apologies.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to spoil the whole goddamn thing.
Here's your warning now.
Yeah.
That anything that is happening in the movie.
Puberty warning.
Yeah.
When Joy was lightening the load and putting certain memories in the back of the mind. Don't think about that. We don't need to think about that kind of thing.
Yep.
And so like
slingshotting them.
As much as anxiety is presenting like this is a positive thing for me to think about all of these ways and prevent us from being harmed, Joy also was trying to do that by we don't need to think about that.
It almost set it up for that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let me bury these emotions because I don't want those ones. I don't need those ones. Those ones don't help me maintain my delusional optimism in the present. And when I was watching that, I was like, God damn, I was still Joy up until recently.
Yep. Yes.
I was still very much Joy until recently.
Yeah. We're just going to, everything is fine and it's fine. And don't even think about that. We're not going to worry about that. And also what she did I loved how they brought in the sense of self.
Yes.
The sense of self. Damn, dude.
That was so good. I feel like we have to explain how they explained it.
Okay. Oh, do you?
I think I did. I think I wrote it
remember.
down. Basically, you know how there's the islands of like the personality islands.
Yeah.
Well, then
and those core memories.
Yes. Then there were memories that went down into the new system, which was called the belief system.
Yeah.
And then the belief system combined to make a sense
Your
of
sense
self.
of self.
And so if you think I am good, I am smart, I am pretty, I am whatever, I am generous, then all of those beliefs about yourself combine together to make your sense of self, how
and
you
hers
view
was
yourself.
Like, I'm a good person, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And it was more matter of fact.
Yeah.
But we saw when anxiety entered the chat that the sense of self changed.
Yes.
And it became more of a question.
Oh, yeah.
It was
dude.
like, am I?
Yeah.
It was very fear-driven
Yes.
and uncertain.
Uncertain.
And I think that when you're uncertain about who you are,
Mm-hmm.
it's easier for someone to infiltrate and change your sense of self.
Yes. Yes, 100%. And also, it was easy for her to get infiltrated because all of those memories that were kind of questioning that belief system were shoved to the back,
Yes.
but they were still who she is.
Yes.
But they were shoved away to the back. So I feel like then that's in the back, but it's in your mind still that, wait, these things happened. And now I'm going to push them forward because maybe everything I thought I was, I'm not. And it's a
Right.
little easier to dismantle that system
Mhm.
when you have those back of mind thoughts.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's easier for someone to come in with a sledgehammer and start chucking away at it and you being like, well, you know what you're saying supports that because I do remember this thing. I don't remember it well, but I know back then I did this thing and it wasn't good.
Right.
And I'm sitting here saying I'm a good person.
And I
But
can't.
maybe I'm not.
Right. I wrote down too that anxiety interfered with Riley's sense of self. And I wrote that anxiety can make you abandon your sense of self because of fear.
Yes.
You're afraid
Mhm.
of what could happen. And so it's almost like if I make my sense of self malleable,
Yes.
almost like it can change. It's not
Mhm.
certain. There is question to it. It almost makes you feel like you can become whatever you need to be to fit into a situation. But if you're
Yes.
doing that, you
have no sense
you
of self.
have no sense of
You
self.
don't know who you are.
True.
God damn, dude. And I see people in my life do that often. I actually had an ex that we used to joke that he becomes whoever he's
chameleon,
dating.
yeah.
He literally becomes whoever he's dating because he just is so badly needs that validation and those. So if you ever watch the movie, there's actually a movie, it's got Julia Roberts in it. My mom, Runaway Bride.
Yes.
Runaway Bride. And they joke that whoever she's with, her egg order at the diner will change but it's like a little inside thing where they're like, she changes depending on who and she's engaged to all these people,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
But she never goes through with the wedding.
Yeah.
Because she's never actually in love with them.
Right.
And she figures that out as they're about to get married, but she makes them fall so hard for her because she changes everything about herself
Right.
to be with them. And then when it comes time to be like, hey, this is who you're going to marry, she's like, wait, maybe I don't even know if I love them. I don't
Mhm.
know if I like them. I don't know who I am.
Right.
And so when that was happening, I was like, oh, damn, this is a real, like,
Mhm.
I know people like this.
Well,
I was that.
I
was that heavy.
I think therapy for the last 2.5 years for me has helped me rediscover my sense of self. It was almost like I thought I had one. I thought for sure I know who I am. I know what I like. I have my belief systems and my core values. I have that. But I don't think I truly did because there was a lot of stuff pushed to the back of my mind that I wasn't factoring in.
Mhm.
And so I had to dismantle that system and remember things I didn't want to remember, face certain things that I didn't want to face, be honest with myself. And
Sucks.
And
it's like sadness. It almost feels like you don't want to feel those feelings, but you have to.
I
You
can't
have
deny
to.
the reality of these things and how those things are impacting my sense of self. And I actually thought about the sense of self thing and the changing yesterday when I got cowboy boots.
Yeah, right.
Because I looked at these boots at Marshall's and it started out as a joke because I remember I was looking at shoes and I looked at Brady and I go, don't do what I think you're about to do. And he's like, what? And then he reaches and he grabs for them and I was like, that's exactly what I thought you were going to do. Don't touch those boots.
Yeah.
But I looked at them and I was like, I actually really love the color of them.
Yeah.
And they have like a butterfly on them.
Yeah.
And so I love butterflies.
Right.
And they were cute. And I was
Right.
like, they are my size. And also they will be honestly utilitarian on the land. I have so much tall grass.
Sure.
It's going to be beneficial to have something like that. But there was a part of me that was like, I can't get those because I was so vehemently against them at one point in time.
Sure. Well, it's you and Taylor Swift all over again.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Brady asked me, why don't you like them? And I told you this at lunch. I was like, because they're cowboy boots. And he's like, no, but why don't you like them though?
Yeah. What do they represent that you don't like?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I was like, I actually don't have an answer.
Yeah.
And so now I'm faced with, I didn't want to get them.
Reminds me of? Sorry.
Go for it.
Off. It almost reminds me of when they're like, boys can't wear dresses.
Yes.
Why?
Mm-hmm.
Boys can't paint their nails. Why?
Yeah.
Because boys don't do that. Why? If they like it, why can't they? Like, so I don't.
Yeah.
That's anything with style like that. I'm like, if you like it, go for it. I feel very
and I
trapped
say that to
sometimes
people
style wise because I feel like people are gonna think I'm a poser. People are gonna think it's fake. But it's almost like.
And I didn't want people to think I was changing for a man.
Sure.
I didn't want people to be like, oh, so now you're dating a guy who likes country music, so now you have cowboy boots.
Right.
And he reminded me, he's like, Jerry, you want cows. You want chickens. You want goats. You live on acreage. Like these boots are made for that. Okay. This turns out they're made for walking.
They're actually useful.
Yeah.
Now don't go getting a pair of Daisy Dukes.
I already have those.
I'm just kidding.
I just won't wear them together. That's for sure. But I was like, you know what? You're right. Like, am I so afraid of stepping out and doing something that does feel intrinsically right for me because I'm afraid people are going to assume that I'm doing it for the wrong motives? It gets real dicey. There's so much overlap with stuff. Yeah. And I remember I sent a picture of them on Snapchat to my cousin Erica, and she was like, end of an era, there goes my emo girl. Like my emo girl's gone. And I would like to say that I will be adopting the alternative view, not emo. But but I think that like disliking something just to dislike it for any length of time, like that to me is not allowing myself growth and change.
I also think it's okay to try different things out.
Yeah.
It's almost like trying on a new. I think that's okay. Just don't make it your whole personality.
No.
You don't have to go completely abandon who you are at your core. Because like the person that I was dating went full, my favorite movie is Harry Potter. Bitch, you never seen that. What the fuck are you talking about? You got a Harry Potter tattoo? He wanted a Harry Potter tattoo for a movie or book series he's never read.
Right.
And that he didn't watch until he met me.
Right. Why do you want that?
Right. And it's like, are you doing that to impress somebody? To make them feel...
Would
Again,
you
it
do
goes
that?
back to... Are you doing it as a means to get someone to stay with you, to get someone to be... Are you doing it for results?
Mm-hmm.
And if so, why?
Right.
What are the results? And why do you feel like you need those? That's what you have to ask yourself.
Yeah.
That, I think, is what changes, like, am I trying this style out or am I losing my sense of self?
Yes. Because am I adding to my sense of self or am I conforming it to be something else?
Yes.
And I feel like for me, I'm allowing myself to be more than what I was before because, again, I think I conformed a lot. I think that I lost a lot of myself in pursuit of a part of me that I felt never was really celebrated.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But again, I celebrated my creative, musical, artistic side, but at the cost of
the other part of you.
The other part of me. And that's why I resonated so much with anxiety and joy, feeling like they were at odds, like they couldn't exist together.
You can't be both.
Yes.
You can be athletic and creative.
Yes.
Those are not mutually exclusive from each other.
Yes.
You can be both.
Right.
And I think it should be celebrated to be both. I know people who were fucking incredible in school plays and stuff, and then we're also on varsity teams and athletes, and I think that's fucking awesome. I don't know why when we're in high school and middle school, it's almost like, here's a road, pick one.
Yes.
Do you like the arts or do you like the sports?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, why?
Do you like rap or do you like country? Do you like...
I know a lot of people around here that like both.
That's what I mean.
It used to be so jarring because I would be like, what? It would go hardcore country song, rap song. And I was like, what the hell?
Well, it reminds me of the conversation I had with Ollie about the societal gender construct.
Yeah.
Of like, hair is just hair.
Yeah.
Nails are just nails. A voice is just a voice. And people have assigned a gender binary to it, like it's either feminine or masculine. And I feel like I assigned similar things to stuff in my life that is like tolerable for Jerry, intolerable for Jerry.
Yeah.
What is Jerry allowed to like
Mm-hmm.
and participate in? And if it fell into the category, even at one point in my life
Mm-hmm.
of it doesn't align with me, it was almost like it never can again.
Yes.
And that's not true because that's so limiting.
It is. And when we went yesterday, again, I said it wasn't my type of music,
Yeah.
right? But the very first band, Almost Monday, I'll shout them out again. I
Yeah.
was fucking rocking with the shit. And Corey was like, this is not your normal type of music.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't feel like I should
I
be
like
limited by my
music.
I just like vibes.
Yeah.
I like this vibe. I like the way this music is making me feel. I like the beat. I like the lyrics. I just like music. It doesn't have to be, oh, you like early 2000s music and this isn't that. I'm confused. Like,
Yeah.
what? It shouldn't. I just like a song. I
Yeah.
can like a country song. I Was Wrong by Chris Stapleton. I showed it to you on
Yep.
our Patreon episode. That's a very not me song, but it itches a part of my brain that I like. I like the vocals. I like the raspiness. It doesn't have to be one thing, and I'm finally getting to the point where I don't feel like an imposter for saying
Yes.
I like those things because I'm like, I just like it.
Yes.
I don't feel like I have to
and I don't need to
you
explain myself.
why I like it.
Yeah. And that was what was going through my head because
Mhm.
I was like, I do like these boots.
Yeah.
I do want to get these boots. I think I would
wore
look cute in these boots.
for a long time because I worked at Texas Roadhouse. At
Texas
the road.
We tried to go there yesterday and it was closed.
Really?
What time did they open?
3.
Ah,
That'll do it.
annoying.
You're an early bird.
You know, I'm 33 now.
Mhm.
But
I eat my dinner at 2 p.m.
sometimes Brady's on midnights, but our
Yeah.
eating schedule's fucked.
It's so crazy. Yeah, I remember the midnight shit. That shit
Yeah.
sucks. There was another part that I wanted to touch on that I really like. So if you haven't seen the movie, all of the new emotions kind of catapult the old ones. They get rid of them.
Yes.
They send them to the where do they send them? They don't do
They
all the way
lock
to
them
the
in a
back.
jar is what
And then they
do.
throw them into like, oh my God, that part was
Secrets.
actually so funny.
Yes.
Yeah, it was like a secret portion, so it's locked away.
The deep secrets. Yeah. And I wrote that anxiety caused suppressed emotions.
Yes.
Which I loved how they portrayed
Suppressed
emotions.
in this jar, we're gonna put it in this part of your brain that's locked away.
Yep.
So good, so fucking good. But they get out.
Mm-hmm.
Spoiler alert: they break free, and then they go through this little. Again, there are a lot of cutesy parts in here. It was
Yeah.
very funny as well. We laughed at a lot of the parts, but there's like some sarcasm happening.
Yes. I wrote sarcasm.
It's so funny. The like.
A chasm literally happens.
And then they're like, the way they're talking to the people is sarcastic. So they're like, it felt very much like when I text people when I'm like,
Yes.
I can't read. What are you saying to me right now?
Yeah, because on one side of the chasm, they
Mhm.
say like, hey, you guys.
You're doing a really good job. And it's like, you're doing a great job.
Yeah, that's how they heard it on the other side because it
Goes
over
through
the sarcasm.
sarcasm.
Yeah, and I thought that was so funny.
So funny. But it also was a good moment because it did the same thing because Riley was able to portray sarcasm. She knew it was happening, and then anxiety was over analyzing everything. Then did she look at me a certain way? How'd she look at me?
Yep.
What was that look? Well, and it was like over analyzing everything
Yes.
about the body language, about the looks,
Mhm.
about the wait a minute, what's going on here? I know something's wrong, and that's like
Because
there's
I think before you know about sarcasm, everything is very concrete. It's good,
yeah.
bad, it's happy, sad. It's
I
like
could be sarcastic with Sawyer, and she has no idea.
yes,
she
none.
doesn't know
Because that's not on her radar. But as
No.
soon as it is, now you read
Now I'm
into.
I can't be sarcastic with Noah because he overthinks everything that I say, and then he's like, "What do you mean by that?" I'm like, I have to be very. He's also a very literal kid,
Yes.
So I have to be very literal with him because he's like, "What?" Oh, the part I wanted to talk about. So while they're on these adventures, they go back into we get into
Imagination Land.
yes, like we did in the first one.
Uh-huh.
However, Imagination Land has changed.
Very
now.
different.
So different.
I wrote down Mount Crushmore and I wanted us to do what our Mount Crushmore
would have been
either
back
is
then.
or back then. Which one do you want to do, then or now?
Okay, right now would be the guy from Almost Monday. And Sabrina Carpenter. Back then would probably have been Josh Hartnett.
Okay.
Leonardo
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah, dude.
Titanic Leo.
Oh, Titanic. I got in trouble at school for talking about Titanic, Leo, in a way that I shouldn't have.
For sure.
Who's another one? Oh, JTT, Jonathan Taylor Thomas.
Yes.
Any of the what were the brothers?
Yes. O'Reilly's. I know who you're talking about.
Yes.
Brotherly Love Brothers.
Yes,
Right?
And they're
Matthew Lawrence, the Lawrence
the
brothers.
Lawrence brothers. God,
Honestly,
damn.
it's just the Lawrence brothers and Leonardo DiCaprio.
yeah. Jonathan Taylor Thomas did something to me as well,
Yeah.
and also the guy from Hocus Pocus.
Yep. Yep. Also the girl from Hocus Pocus.
Bingo.
Yavos. Old Yavos.
Old Yavos.
Anyway, Imagination Land. Yeah, I wrote down that anxiety
Changed it
was using imagination
against
it. her.
That was such a powerful moment where I had
Yes.
an aha, where I'm like, hi, is that not fucking me? It's let's think of every scenario, but let's do it in a way that's so over exaggerated and it's everything that could possibly go wrong.
How powerful your mind is.
Yeah.
How powerful your imagination is, and how are you using it?
Yes.
Like you're weaponizing your own mind
I am
against you.
weaponizing my imagination.
And you're
because I
convincing
am-
yourself it's for
that
your
it's
own good.
real and that it's real.
Yes.
That it's a possibility, which to be fair, it is. But I'm also not imagining the good possibilities.
The alternatives.
Yeah.
The
my
alternatives.
alternatives.
Yeah.
Oh man, that part got me.
Yep.
That part got me so good. That was the part where I was like, yeah, anxiety is in control over me a little bit because every single time we're anywhere, and that was big in postpartum anxiety as well. I had no control over that part. It was every scenario where something horrible could happen to my children was played in front of me like it was a screen over and over in my head to the point where I felt like I couldn't breathe, where I was like, if I don't see my child in front of me breathing and happy, she in my mind is dying.
Right.
And I'm not there to save her.
Right.
And I couldn't do anything about that. It was the most helpless feeling I've ever felt in my life.
Yeah.
I never want to feel that again.
But unfortunately,
I fucking will.
you fucking will. Maybe not necessarily postpartum.
No.
This is not an announcement.
No, it's not. But well, imagine I'm drinking like I'm pregnant. No, but I know that anxiety lives in me and it's something that I have to work on. And I will say, I was very happy because this is something I think often when we speak about like triggers and people wanting to stay away from triggers and stuff like that, which I totally get. Do your thing, make yourself comfortable. But almost for me, facing those head on has healed it.
Exposure therapy.
Exposure therapy. And with anxiety, it's the same. I told myself, my mom messaged me, I don't know if you know this.
Our moms are going to DC?
Yes,
Yeah.
to a show. And she called me and she was like, are you okay? I know at a time you didn't want anyone there. And I was like, my dad's been to like 4 shows. Mom, you can literally come. But I think she was still like, I was so adamant that no one come to my first show. And it's because I had anxiety had set up in my head that I was going to bomb in front of everybody. And I didn't want to embarrass myself in front of people who I'd have to see on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Like that's sad, but it's what was happening. And I feel bad that I told them not to come because I know it went so well and I wish they could have seen that. But it's just what was happening in my head. So I said, no, please come. She said, okay, I just want to make sure you were comfortable. I said, I couldn't be more comfortable being on stage. And I know that's crazy to hear. I flew home with Noah by myself on a plane and I felt nothing flying.
Yeah.
I was great. If anything, I felt relaxed.
Yep.
And it was like, it was all of those moments that so much right had happened that in my mind, I was like, it's not even what could happen. It's this is what's going to happen because this is what has happened. I'm not even letting that be a possibility.
Right.
It's going to go well. It's going to be fine. If we bombed on stage, we have such an amazing audience that I feel
technically
like
we have had really tough times on stage
we've
before.
had almost all of them have been moments
Something fucky
where
happens.
I'm like, this is a moment that if anyone else, if we had a different crowd, they would have maybe been like, what the fuck?
Or if what happened played out in my nightmare, I would have felt differently than how I'm feeling actually being on stage having it happen.
Because you look out in the crowd and you're like, shit, this is a moment where something's not going right. And they're smiling, they're laughing. they start cheering our names.
Yeah.
They're, you got this, girl. Like, you're surrounded by your friends who are wanting to see you succeed, and that's the only option for them.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and that, it's like, I think those moments have helped me redirect my imagination where I'm like, hey, you're not real. This is.
Yeah.
This has happened. This is a memory, your imagination.
Yep.
So I'm not letting that control.
I think I have the opposite problem.
Really?
Where I'm less anxiety creating imaginative scenarios to dictate what I do. And I'm more so joy throwing the memories in the back to pretend like they don't exist.
So then when something does happen, it throws you way off.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it's almost like I will use my imagination to create a delusionally happy scenario.
Oh, you're not wrong. Yeah.
So
I
that
could totally see
so that I'm like, oh, this bad thing that happened, that's
not real.
That's either not real or that's not the norm. But then when it's a pattern and it happens and it happens and it happens, I can't keep denying that is real by creating a positive spin on it with my imagination. So like where I'm not going to sit here and say, Sierra, you're harming yourself by creating these imaginary scenarios while also not acknowledging that I was harming myself by creating
doing it the opposite.
Yes, by burying the bad
and only creating positive imagination scenarios.
Yes.
Because that also can be
or
it's
spinning
future
it.
faking a little bit.
Yes.
It's future faking yourself.
Or spinning it like she did by only keeping the ones that I wanted
are positive
and
shoving all those other ones to the back.
Yes.
Yeah, 100%.
Because it wasn't going to benefit me
Yeah.
in the scenario.
Yeah.
But it was still real and they were still there and it left me vulnerable.
You were seeing gray flags, baby. I'm colorblind. I don't know what color those are. And it's like, those are red.
Well,
it's all red flags.
And then I think I left myself vulnerable. And so that's why I was having physical manifestations because in the end of the movie.
Your body knows.
Yes.
Your body keeps score.
Anxiety in the movie has a panic attack. Like you witness the panic attack happening.
Manifestation in the movie, how they portrayed it. First of all, I just want to say there were tons of children in the movie theater, and you're very and it was loud, noisy the entire time, which is fine. They were young kids. That moment was silent, and Noah grabbed my arm, and I had a hold of his arm.
That makes me want to cry.
And we were just, and I looked over, and he had tears then, and I had tears, and it was like my heart was. Because we both knew. I was like, I felt that. I know he's felt it. And it's showing you in this very, like you're seeing it, her experiencing it, but what's happening in your mind. And it's like, I felt that. I know exactly because anxiety is at the board and is frozen, but it's also like whirling around.
It looks like a tornado around the board. And so it looks like anxiety's doing the most, but really
she's frozen.
She's paralyzed.
She's literally paralyzed.
And that was a fucking powerful thing to witness.
The most powerful imagery I've seen in a children's movie since we saw that in Soul. That moment with the going inside and the big scary.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
That moment. Oh, I have fucking goosebumps just talking about it. Yeah, dude, that was intense. And it was one of those things where I was like, I don't even know if these kids that are younger get it, but I can tell by how silent it is that the parents do, and they're feeling that energy.
Yes.
And that's why it is quiet right now.
And I feel like it gives terminology for kids because abstract thinking is so difficult to communicate, which is why having concrete examples like this is so beneficial to children. And
I also loved, I'm sorry.
No, you're
I didn't
good.
mean to cut you off.
Honestly, I don't know what I was going to say next. So go on.
We both do that. I love that. I also really love that they showed that anxiety is a normal emotion for a child to feel or a person to feel, and not like you don't have to have
like a
anxiety disorder. You don't have to have like a panic disorder, but anxiety is a normal emotion to feel, especially in the middle school, teenage years.
Yes.
I think it's a very, I like that they weren't like, this is someone with anxiety disorder. Because I think too many times you're like, oh, I have anxiety right now. And they're like, you don't have anxiety disorder. It's almost like I understand that people are like, you can't just say you have anxiety, but you can have anxiety without having an anxiety disorder.
Because I think it's more so.
You can't have a panic attack without having panic disorder.
Yes.
Like you can have
They're
those
not
things.
mutually exclusive.
No. It's
and I think it's because when you get to a certain age, you are able to think outside of yourself.
Yes.
And so when you're able to think outside of yourself, you're aware that you're being perceived and it's very scary to feel perceived.
The world is watching you.
Yes.
Eyes are on you, and also they are having thoughts about you.
I used to tell myself, and I think this is why I again resonate more with joy than I did anxiety, is because when I was in middle school, I would
the two I resonated with. You're like joy, mine's sadness, anxiety.
Yeah.
Huge.
I remember thinking negatively about myself, like, oh, is this outfit stupid? Does my hair look stupid? Does my makeup look dumb? Like, my braces are dumb, like all of these things. And I remember pausing and saying to myself frequently, the amount that you're thinking about yourself is the same other people are thinking about themselves. You're not sitting here thinking about what someone else is like.
No.
So why
Unless
are you
it's in an enviable, like an
So why are
enviable
you
way.
assuming that someone else is thinking about you? And it almost was like a way to like calm that panic, because I'm like, no one's looking. But that's why I felt invisible. I felt like no one sees me. Again, it went to my detriment eventually, because I'm like, I convinced myself so much that I wasn't being perceived that I started feeling
invisible.
You
know what's crazy is, as an adult, I never felt that. I felt very
visible,
very visible,
and
in
that
the
was
worst
apparent.
way.
That was
the
apparent when
worst
we
way.
would go out to eat, and
I
you would
be like, everybody is staring at me and freaking the fuck out.
By the way, pause. I'm so sorry. I know
you're
you have
okay.
a thought. Don't forget it. But you, in the episode where you were talking about coming home from Noah, I was so proud of you in a moment, and I didn't say it to you, but I thought about it when I was editing. You were talking about being at the coffee shop and having a girl look at you, and it was a positive experience. You were like, I thought she was looking at me because we had similar tattoos, and I wanted to talk to her about it. Not, she's looking at me and she thinks I'm stupid. She thinks
she's
my hair is
making fun of me.
She's making fun of me.
Well, okay, and that's kind of where I was going to go with that. Was that as an adult, I've now, a way that I think that is positive that I hope you can take from is, I've started changing my mind to the point of not they're having these same thoughts about themselves, which I think is also good, but can lead to what you were talking about, which is almost like an invisible feeling. Instead of that, I'm like, they probably are having them thoughts about themselves, but they also could be having those thoughts about me.
Right.
But for me, why do I care?
Yes.
What power do they have over me? It's almost like taking that power away from them.
No one can make you feel bad without your permission.
And that's the fucking bottom line. They literally can't. And I am living proof that, like, even if I have watched people say the worst shit to me, to my face and online, and it makes me laugh now, because I'm like, I don't give a fuck. I don't care.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think it's just because the only person whose opinion of me that matters is me, and I really like myself.
Yeah.
And so I don't care.
I could cry hearing you say that.
I really do. For like the first time in a really long time.
Probably ever.
I'm fucking literally probably ever.
Yeah.
And like, we were in a room full of those people, and me and Noah were, I wasn't overanalyzing him and being like, don't do that.
You were allowed to be present.
We were present fully in the moment. I didn't care what I looked like. I didn't care what he looked like. I didn't care what we sounded like. I didn't care how we were dancing. We were jumping. At one point I jumped really hard and I thought I peed myself.
And also, I didn't care about that.
I didn't. I was like, I'll piss my pants right now. Fuck it. But like, we were just living in the moment. And I was like, how many of these moments have I missed out on?
Well, part of me wonders if that's why you were, I don't want to say blame your depression on it, but at the same time, when you are exhausting your mind and your body by thinking everyone is paying attention to you and questioning every move that you make, it's easier to just sleep.
It literally is. It's so much fucking work and effort to go out into the public, to be around people, even people that love me, like my family or my friends, because I am just constantly, and I'm not going to lie, I still have a little bit of an avoidant. I love my home. I'm a homebody. So it is, because that energy is still in there where I overthink that. We had a conversation earlier today that I overthought the fuck out of for weeks before we even did it.
Yeah.
So I'm not trying to tell you guys that I have it all figured out. I'm still working, but I think the little progress I've made, baby steps are still steps. It's fine.
And I think the progress that we've made makes moments like that so much easier to have.
Yes.
And the recovery from it is so much easier.
Quicker.
Yes.
Definitely quicker.
Yes.
I'll tell you that for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were. It's been a journey, and we're still on it. But it's any progress is progress.
Yeah,
I'll take it.
I wrote a couple things down too. One of them remember how sometimes I give you guys homework? I feel like this is one of those situations.
I love teacher Jerry moments. I really do.
One of the things that I wrote down was, what does your anxiety self say that isn't true? Riley's was saying, I'm not good enough.
That fucking moment when the sense of self is finally recreated and anxiety thinks it's going to be something good.
And it's not.
And that moment was another moment when it went very quiet because you're waiting to hear what it says. And the thing it says is, I'm not good enough. I could have fucking sobbed because it's so relatable. And it's so like her face too. Anxiety's face was like, wait,
that's not
what I was trying to do.
Yes.
I didn't want that. I was trying to make you better.
Yes.
And I'm hurting you.
I was trying to save you. I was trying to keep you safe.
And there's so many moments I feel like my own brain felt that which was like, I was trying to help you and I did so much damage that I didn't
And then you beat yourself up because you did it. And it's just like you're fighting yourself.
Cycle.
You're hurting yourself for hurting yourself.
Oh God,
and then
dude, you're punishing yourself for that.
And that's why whenever I think about TKO, if you guys don't know, we had a friend of mine, TKO, on during our Black Lives Matter episodes. And I remember messing up their pronouns. And I apologized to them. And they were like, all right, you apologize to me, but I want you to apologize to yourself.
Oh, I thought it was going to be do better.
Well, yeah, do better.
That too.
Do better, but
yeah.
Because do better in that moment would have almost been like shaming myself.
Shameful.
But what they said was, I want you to apologize to yourself for the grief you put yourself through. You beat yourself up over this. And I appreciate the apology and I want you to do better and to think about it. But also, I want you to apologize to yourself for making a mistake because it's human. And I think about that all the fucking time.
I think about that as well when I see things online because there's a big movement of like immediately you made a mistake. I'm going to shame you into like you are not a good person and I'm going to let you know you're not a good person and you will never do better. And I've been very loudly against that way of activism because I don't think it helps. I think it almost does more damage to anything you're trying to do. Now, obviously, a bigot is a bigot, and it's fine calling them out. But if you can tell when there are people who are doing things kind of out of ignorance.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times that shaming in a way, now you don't have to hold people's hands, but it almost is like just a matter of fact thing. Hey, don't mess up again. Now, if they do, hold them accountable to it.
Yeah.
But this like one strike rule, you're a bad person and that's final.
It leaves no room for growth.
No room. And so it's like you've just put this person where you're on the bottom shelf and that's where you belong and that's where you'll stay. And then why do they, if you've been telling them that, why are they going to try to get any higher?
Yeah.
I think we should all be kind of wanting everyone to do better. That's the way the world gets better.
Yeah.
We all have to grow.
Yeah. And allowing people the space to grow is going to make it safer for everyone.
100%.
Another thing is, what feeling does my body need to feel? And are there any others preventing them from taking the board for one reason or another? And I thought about that whenever at the end, when anxiety has finished their panic attack, when they said, Riley wants you.
Yes.
Wants you to joy.
Yes.
And it made me think about, what emotions do I suppress?
Yes.
And
that you need to fully feel.
And it also makes me realize, yes, because sometimes I suppress sadness. I suppress grief. I suppress.
I'm so afraid of letting sadness take over.
Yes.
That I suppress it a lot.
Yes.
And like last night, I felt
sometimes you need it.
Sadness when they were, doing that thing for their dad. And I was like, I just fully let myself. I hate crying, but I'm really leaning into it recently. Yeah. And guess what? It feels fucking good. It feels good.
But it also kind of portrayed. Now, this is not me saying that you can choose to not be depressed or you can choose not to have a mental health disorder, but it did highlight that there is a choice at times. And there's
a bit of a mind over matter thing with certain things.
Yes.
There really can be.
And so saying
you can
that
train your
Riley
brain.
wants you joy Riley wants to be happy right now. She
Yeah.
wants to feel these things. It gives you the power.
Yeah.
Like it almost allows you to take control of your own emotions. You're
Yes.
now controlling who's at the board rather than letting the board control itself and
Yes.
allowing emotions to step over one another.
Yes. Let it and making sure the ones that need to step aside know to step aside. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, I think that with like, I used to just tell people I can't fly. I can't. I
Mhm.
can't. I'm going to need to be medicated to fly. And then I was like, well, I have no choice. I'm going to do it. And I
Right.
don't have a script right now, so I'm going to need to just do it. And it was tough, but
Mhm.
I did it. And then doing it, I was like, what? If I would have just let my mind tell me you can't, I take that word fully out of my vocabulary now.
Yeah.
That's not a fucking word that I let be in my mind.
We don't do can't and we don't do should.
We don't. And I'm not going to, because it doesn't, I don't know what I'm capable of yet.
Mhm.
And I want to find out.
Don't limit yourself.
Don't limit yourself.
I saw someone post this and I wanted to share it because it was, even though I watched the movie, it wasn't something that I picked up on. But someone posted, in case you didn't notice it in Inside Out 2, joy cried, sadness smiled,
Yes.
anger showed compassion, fear found courage, and disgust still doesn't like broccoli. But also, I wanted to add that embarrassment was brave.
Yes.
Because
Very.
embarrassment stepped out of there was a
Doing-
fear of I don't want to rock
Like a
the boat.
shame.
Yes, but
It did.
it did by helping sadness.
Yes.
Mhm.
Damn. That's fucking good.
It just shows the complexity of your emotions and how
And they are. They're
How
going
they
to get
exist
more complex.
together
Mhm.
and how you don't have to just be one thing and you can experience them simultaneously and not have to bury one to experience another.
Yeah. God, that
So,
movie is so good.
It's so fucking good.
If you haven't watched it and you're like, I don't even know because I haven't watched the first one, but I would listen to you guys, I highly recommend watching it. It's not just for kids. I mean, it really
True.
made such an impact
Yeah.
on me. Both movies, but yeah, they are to this day the two most like inspiring
yes.
children's movies I've ever watched.
Yes.
Really made me think about myself.
Yeah. And
So,
again,
impactful.
thinking about something that is abstract like emotions and your
Mhm.
mind is really hard to do. And so giving it, that's why I love analogies so much.
Oh yeah, it's so good.
Because it's so much easier to understand when it's concrete. And this
Mhm.
movie just created a world of imaginary things to help explain
your
in
emotions.
a concrete way something that's so
Very complex.
imaginary.
Yeah.
There was one other thing I saw. Someone posted this big long thing. I'm not going to read any of it, but it resonated with me. And it goes again with like how anxiety resonated with you from the point of like, it was meant to be good. It was meant
Mhm.
to do good.
It's meant to protect you and help
Right.
you.
And what I liked about this is when Joy has a moment where she breaks down, and it is the moment where she cried, but she talks about how she has to be delusional
Yes.
to maintain her level of happiness.
She says that. She has like a real like acknowledgement of,
yes.
I know I'm delusional sometimes.
Yes, I know I'm doing this,
Yeah.
but I feel like I have to.
Mm-hmm.
And so there was a heaviness in feeling like I am carrying the weight of Riley's happiness on my shoulders. And it feels like if I don't acknowledge,
Mm-hmm.
it feels like if I do acknowledge the hard stuff, then
It's gonna all come crumbling down.
it's all going to come crumbling down.
Mm-hmm.
But that reminds me of the threads,
Mm-hmm.
of pulling the thread and the tapestry. And it does all come crumbling down, but
Mhm.
that's okay.
Because you can redo it.
And it can be whatever you want it to be, and it can
Mhm.
exist in a completely messy form, or it can change a million times.
Or it can take 33 years to build itself up, and that's okay. You don't have to have it figured out in your early 20s.
And then you can put cowboy boots on it, and everyone can shut up about it.
Shut up about my cowboy boots.
Oh my God, they bring me joy.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
Yeah,
God,
was
good,
such a good
movie.
movie.
Good movie, good episode.
Yeah. We pat ourselves on the back. Yay.
I'm proud of us for that.
Yeah, me too.
Well, I feel like we got vulnerable there in ways that maybe
Yeah.
we wouldn't have.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys were wanting updated personality islands. I don't have them. I don't remember what the other ones were.
They were in our Do You Stand By That? We had a couple.
Yeah.
So I don't know what we said in the last ones. I didn't go, but here's what I feel now. Take that to the bank.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Make up your own islands for me, I guess. I just don't feel like I have separate islands anymore. I think maybe that's what happens when you are past puberty.
Yes.
And you are more centered and secure in your sense of self, is just you realize there is no division of you. It's just you.
You know, and that's, I literally, when they brought up sense of self, I was like, that's what I feel like, not even in my 20s, but I feel like in my 30s, that's where I felt like, oh my God, this is who I am so secure in my sense of self that I almost don't need any of the other things.
Yes.
It's almost like I know who I am.
Yep.
And everything else can be worked on individually, but like the most important thing is that I am secure in who I am.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah. Damn.
That's
Nice.
what's up.
That is damn, that is what's up.
That's what's up. That's that on Inside Out too, I guess, guys.
I hope you liked it. I hope
Yeah.
you got to watch it. If you haven't and you need to skip this and then you come back later, let us know in the comments below. How do you feel? What are your islands? What's
Yeah.
running your board? We want to know about you
Yeah.
too. Not the band, just you as well.
No,
I
I'm
don't give a fuck about
honestly,
you too,
I'm so
dude.
fucking angry that they just infiltrated my fucking
No, that
phone.
was so wrong, dude.
Downloaded
I'll
their
never
album.
forget.
I'll never forgive them for that. Them and Dairy Queen. Fuck them.
You take that to the bank.
If you want to fuck with us, you
You
can go to
should.
patreon.com/ladiesandtangents. There's a whole buttload more content over there.
So much more content.
And you get exclusive opportunities like the pre-sale to our show.
Which you should also come to because we're fucking cool.
Yeah. It's a good time.
No,
It's a
it
good
is a
time.
good. Hey, whether we suck ass or not, the energy in that place is fucking good. That's what I know, and I can promise you that show might suck. I hope it doesn't, but the energy in that place will be the best that you felt anywhere else. And you can ask people who have been to shows, and they'll tell you the same.
Put that in the comments below.
Good fucking people. That's what I'm saying.
Well, thank you, you good fucking people, for hanging out with us. We love you so much, and we'll see you next week.
All right.
We're out.
Goodbye.